All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And I want to talk to you right about now more about some of the string bending technique that we talked about earlier, that in particular of the style of Mr. Albert King. And as I spoke about before, you know, Albert had the weeping guitar, in my opinion, because his bends were so wide and so hard to control and to intonate. So the song that we just ran through, that was called Bay Area Blues by Mr. Albert King. But in particular, I wanted to speak about the solo section because he had those particular wide bends, and that was a patented move by Albert. Albert did that in many of his songs, and it became known amongst the blues world as the Albert King break. You know, say, give me the Albert King, and everybody would be bum bum bum, beep beep, you know, and speak the Albert language if you knew to do so. So in that particular song, Bay Area Blues, when the break comes up, my choice of notes at the time was this particular thing that he used a lot. So coming to the break, it would be. That thing right there, you know, coming from the. So he had. So the most significant part about that section, like I said, is the coming into it, you know, coming off of the turnaround. You see how wide that bend is, starts from. I think that's about a step and a half, almost a two-step bend that he's using there. So the key is to start from that position, what I call the second position. And again, we spoke about the sliding, how you slide into the notes, you give them a little bit more feeling, a little bit more definition. So it's basically just listening to what he did and try to emulate and copy his sound to the best of your ability. But like I said, a lot of people choose to do it on the E string. It's hard to get that, it's hard to get this. It's a wider bend. And that's what made his bending so special. Albert, a lot of times he would even take a minor note and bend it in. It was so much dependent on his bend. His bend was almost the entirety of his technique. Everything was a bent note. But like I said, once again, from the second position, the key is that note right there to be able to bend on the B string. So the key of D, D, you would start on an F note that is, from the D to the F note. So you're starting on your F and you bending from here. That wide bend, that was Albert's signature. another one of his signature things. Bend and slide up. Another thing that is very important in blues music is to have sustain and to have legato notes. A lot of time with other types of music, you know, you're doing a lot of picking and you're running all over the neck, but you know, sometimes you never take the time to let the note sustain and hold out. And that's also, I think, is very important in blues music because it's vocal. And sometimes in our approaches to our vocal, you want that note to sustain and hold out. So be conscious of that as well. So E string, first position, second position, but the bend. You can get more than sometimes let me see. You hear that? And you can have the same control coming down. So a lot of bending and stretching going on. But if you pay close attention to it, I think you can catch it. But the main thing, what helps is to be able to have at least 3 fingers on that string. And when you push, it also helps to have you be able to control it because you want clean notes, you want distinction in between those notes. And the only way to get it is to learn to control the pressure on your bend when you do your bend. And so once again, he did this other thing as well. And sometime instead of climbing your way up to the bend, he did this one thing that straight to it. And all of that rising in between is all even better because then that way you can hear the distinguishability between one note to the next. You know, we're starting all the way down from here, bending all the way up to there, so you can see it's a very wide bend. But that's a lot of bending going on in one position. You're putting, you're bending, letting off. And it's just something that the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to control it. But that's a lot of bending there, and that's a lot of the techniques what Stevie Ray Vaughan used as well. He sounded a lot like Albert King when he did his blues music a lot of time, but Stevie did a lot of his bending on the E string, which if that's more comfortable for you or if you feel you got more control. But me personally, I like to choose the more rubbery bend where that you can see that you're starting from one note and going completely all the way up to the next note. And that's what I would like to pass on to you about Albert King, his bending. And ending it with a half bend to the major. What a bender. How you particularly get out of that solo sometimes can be interesting, but you have many options or many different choices. So when you're going from, maybe you can follow it up with some of your own licks or own ideas. You know, you go from one phase from doing the Albert King, right back into your own particular choices of notes, and it would maybe go something sort of like this. So right there, we did the bends, and we come in here, we're doing the sweeps coming out. And don't be afraid to let those notes hang out there for a minute. So basically, those are some of the solos, or some of the techniques that I use with that particular solo. And what I want you to do is just to practice the bending technique. Like I said, you want to be able to get that wide sweep. So you're going from all the way up. And you want it to have that moaning, crying effect as well. So when you bend up, let the air out of the balloon and just let her come on back down easy. Just don't be afraid to try it and have fun with it. Have fun with it. And I'm sure that the more you become in control of your bends, you'll find a whole lot of other good stuff in there. But from the second position, that's the key of D here, but I'm bending very wide on the B string. So check it out, and I hope you have fun with it. Make her cry.